All right, second grade, let's talk for a minute about corn. Let's see if we can figure out what steps we would need to take to plant our corn, to grow our corn, and then to harvest it and turn it into cornmeal. Now, it's fall, the ground's cold, we just had a snowstorm. Now wouldn't be the best time for us to plant our corn. We really would need to make sure that we would follow the rule that the Pilgrims learned from the Native Americans when they first came to the New World. They were told that it was time to plant the corn when the leaves of the oak tree are the size of a mouse's ears, meaning that their very small leaves just starting to come out would be the time to plant the corn in the spring. That way the kernel has time to grow into the plant and enough time to make the corn itself in order to be harvested before the winter and fall and winter set in. All right, so they've taken their corn, they waited till the size of the mouse's ears on the oak tree, and now they're going to put 3 or 4 kernels of corn into a soft hill of earth, and then they're going to add 2 or 3 fish. Why would I put fish in with my corn? Well, boys and girls, the fish was used as fertilizer. Back when the Pilgrims came, there was not Home Depot where they were able to go and pick out some fertilizer to help their garden. So they used fish or bones of fish or fish meal, things that they had that were available to decompose to help give the nutrients that the corn needed to grow. All right, so now we've planted our corn, it's growing, and now it's time to harvest it. So we go out, they find the corn that's ready to be picked. Now this corn is a little bit old and it's already kind of dried up a little bit because that's the next part of it. So after they've harvested it, they roast the corn or dry it, and then they take out all the kernels. Now you can see that this one's pretty dry. See how dry those kernels are? This one I could take the kernels off, just like this. And now look, I have a kernel to either save some to replant, like I did on my seeds over here, or we could grind it down. Now, they didn't have big mills like we do here now. No big machines in the New World when the Pilgrims first came to help them grind stuff down. They had to do it by hand. So they had rocks and things like metates that they were able to use to grind the corn down. Here's some pictures of some. Look at how they have the round rock and then they have the stone, the bowl, almost looks like a bowl that they pushed on it. This one's a really good one that really shows you how they would have to grind it. And they had to work and work and work. So they'd take all those kernels, stick them in there, and then they'd use the rocks and push and grind and push and grind. I don't know, guys. I think that would have taken a long time, and man, would your arms be tired. Kind of glad that nowadays we live where we can do it lots easier. We can just go to the store. We're going to make a corn stalk of our own. And in this corn stalk, we're going to sequence what we would need to do to make cornmeal. All right, you guys have a paper that looks like this. Now, some of you may just have the one. You really only need one. So I'm going to have my paper. I'm going to cut out to where I only need one. You can use the others for scratch paper. I'm just going to toss it, put it to the side, whatever you want to do. Now, you have one row of words. We've got roast the corn or dry it, harvest the corn, plant the corn, and put 3 or 4 kernels of corn with 2 or 3 fish in the soft hill of the earth. Okay, we've got some steps that we're going to follow. Now, we already talked about those steps, so we're going to put them in order on our paper that looks like this. You're going to need to have your glue sticks and your scissors. Let's get started. What was the first thing that we needed to do? Think back. They said that it was time to plant when something happened. Because that's the first step. I got to plant them. Now, there is one that says put 3 or 4 kernels in there. But do I know if it's time yet? Here's one that says time. It's time to plant corn when the leaves of the oak tree are the size of a mouse's ear. That one sounds like the first one to me. So I'm going to carefully cut along the line. And I'm going to glue that onto the first spot. So here's my glue. Just a dot, not a lot. And I put it on. There. Now we've got our first thing. It's time to plant corn when the leaves of the oak tree are the size of a mouse's ear. Okay, so we're going to plant them. We haven't done it yet. There was one that talked about planting. Roast the corn, harvest the corn, put 3 or 4 kernels of corn into with 2 or 3 fish in a soft hill of earth. Okay, so we got them ready to go. Now we need to plant them. That would be our next one. All right, friends. Now, there's 2 more that we would need to think about. We've got roast the corn or dry it and pour it and pound it into meal for cornbread and mush, or harvest the corn, cut the stalks, and make them into sheaves. We've got 2 spots. Your job is going to be to put these last 2 in the right spot to make sure that we go in order of how we would plant and harvest corn and then turn it into meal for cornbread or mush. When you're done, you may color beautiful corn stalks and send us a picture. Can't wait to see your sequencing and your beautiful corn.